just a ride. Whoa, oh, it's just a ride.
You know, I've noticed an infestation here. Everywhere I look, in fact, the same unevolved, underdeveloped pond scum. Totally convinced of their own superiority as they scurry about their short, pointless lives.
What the fuck is that from?
Men in Black 1.
Well, you want to get rid of them, don't you?
Right.
I mean, the worst way.
Fuck, nice. Nicely done.
Yeah, we're recording, so, you know. Have at it, Jack.
Oh, shit. Did you record that?
Yeah.
Well done. I was just like, what the fuck? He went straight on character.
And I got to be the retard that didn't know what it was. Awesome.
Men in Black, baby.
Well, welcome to Just a Ride podcast, and this is number 14.
Holy shit.
14 weeks of this.
That's like a fortnight.
It is a fortnight?
Yeah, it is
That's
14.
a fortnight.
Fuck yeah. Last week was a baker's dozen. This is a fortnight. We'll find out what 15
Why
is.
does
Nothing for 15.
Why does that make it a fortnight? I don't get it.
It's 2 weeks.
Fortnight's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, is that, oh no shit.
14 days.
You got to learn something new today.
Things Jeff learned this week.
Well, this feels like a more loose one than the last one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Well, I say we just get right into having some fun. My name's
hop
Zach.
into the sauce. I'm Shaiden.
That guy talking is Shaiden.
I'm Jeff.
That guy's talking is Jeff. And fucking it's P-Ba, Poo-Ba, and Wank-Ba.
Or something. Yeah.
I've gotten
We're still
several.
we're
Yeah, I
still
don't
getting
really like that.
submissions.
Why
We're
the
still
ba?
getting submissions for ba. Because we're
Yeah.
bas. You have to be
You
a
have to be a
ba.
ba.
You're not getting out of
That
being
was
a
one.
ba.
I mean, it feels
somebody
like
said a bunch of
throws off
bas,
a lot of-
and there were a
yeah.
couple that made me laugh.
Some of
and
them were great.
one was like Casbah. That cracked me up. I just laughed so hard
Rock
with that.
the Casbah.
Yes, I just totally saw the video. There was another good one on there too. That wasn't.
But ours are
made me
bodily
laugh.
fun. You know, I pee-bod my bed. He poo-bod in his bed. We know you wank-ba on your bed. So, I mean, but it's nothing special. That's the problem, right? Because everybody's wank. I could also be wank-ba.
Do you need to be special?
This dog could
do you have
probably...
do you have a strong, deep
I started
desire to
thinking
be
about that. It's like,
special?
how often is it really in bed?
Fair enough. Fair
Every
enough.
time for me, pretty much.
You
Not
have-
gonna lie. That's it.
it's
Things we
nice.
learned about Shaiden this week.
It's getting to the point where it's got to be like, you know, a risque place in the house, you know, like while doing laundry.
You're doing
On
yourself
the
on
excitement's
kitchen
just totally
table.
gone. Yeah.
You're like, I had
Like-
sex with myself on the kitchen table.
You're like on the washing machine when the load is unbalanced.
While I'm trying to do the
that sounds
dishes. or
absolutely reasonable, I would say.
any project that I'm in. Just to complicate things.
Why are you knocking out a wall in the living room? Because I needed to jerk off.
Then I'm all role playing. I'm like, stop it. No.
Nothing wrong.
Not right now. Oh, come on, me.
This is going to be a productive episode.
Yeah, I
tell.
can see where this is going. I will. This was we didn't talk about this, but on the Dipshit Files this week, we talked about the need. The particular guy we were covering was just a really sexual deviant guy, and it was like, fuck, sex robot, sex doll.
Oh, God. I thought you were going to say,
sex-
fuck, that reminds me of Jeff.
No.
Okay, thank you. Good. Good.
But now that you mention it,
Yeah, absolutely. That went right to you. But it was like, what do you guys think about sex robots, sex dolls? I shouldn't say robots, sex
A
dolls.
lot less sexually transmitted diseases, a lot less
You
pregnancies.
could get syntax warts, though. Waka waka, Jeff. Sorry.
these are the jokes, people.
That's all I got today. It does seem like it would, like with this guy in particular, the guy that we covered. It's like,
I can still
would've been
see
nice,
jealousy issues coming up in relationships.
Certainly.
But it would be an easy plug for, hey, it's just a third, baby. I want to share it with you. You know, I'm just throwing it out there.
fair enough.
It seems like the natural evolution of sex toys to me.
It does.
Yeah.
I've never been into such things. I'm more of an analog man myself, but
Would you feel the need to shame another guy if you found out he had a sex doll?
They need
sex
better
robot.
sex toys for guys anyway. Women have all kinds of cool stuff. Guys don't have.
and there's no shame in it whatsoever. Do you feel
No.
shame to have if you had a sex doll? Would you tell us?
If I had a sex doll, would I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Do you have a sex
there
doll?
really isn't anything you
not
guys
that we
don't know anything
but not
about.
that we need to know.
that wouldn't be the weirdest thing I've ever learned about you, Jeff.
But would you?
Yeah, probably not.
Fair enough.
I feel like when people think about sex robots, they automatically, guys and girls both, they automatically think of like female sex robots. But
Right.
I'm like, there's going to be a whole market of male sex
There's a
robots.
whole market of
There is.
porn where they're using machinery on women. I mean, attach
Or
that
women
to a doll.
or
Seems
women
very
just
simple.
with the doll, and that's like a
I have
Right.
to think that the dildo and such sundry toys market is doing way better than the fleshlight market. I mean, I don't know, but based on my assumption and observation, I feel like women are putting more money into sex toys than dudes are.
By a lot, I bet.
Right?
Okay.
Well, dudes are putting in a lot of money into the sex toys for the women too.
Maybe, sure.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But are there? I mean, I don't know anybody. Nobody tells you these kind of things and stuff. But have you ever had a fleshlight? I've never had.
I've had jerk toys. Yeah.
You've had a
Really?
fleshlight or something?
Not
like it?
specific. Yeah, it sounds really fucking arrogant. Honestly, they're too small. Can't use them.
Oh, Jeff. Check out Jeff's OnlyFans at jeff@onlyfans.com.
So do the tattoos
No,
go
I mean-
all the way to the tip of your dick too?
What's that?
Do the tattoos go all the way to the tip of your dick as well?
Just to the base. And the reason why is because it gets really hard to tattoo in that
no shit.
skin.
Who could hold a hard on for that long?
I saw in a tattoo
No, what
magazine.
they do is they clipboard it. They put it on top of it, and this is real.
I like how you're getting literal with my jokes.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
makes me so happy.
No, because this is actually a real thing. I've been considering what it's going to be. But they clipboard it. They just from the bottom. They like tuck the bottom between your cacking balls, and then put the head in the little clip,
What in the...
and keep it taut. And yeah,
No.
Yeah.
That's a
Whoever
bad
came up
human
with
note.
that, it started as a joke, and now it's the industry standard for some reason.
It started as a sadist. Like, not
So
like
there was a
other
guy. There was a guy that used to work for one of my artists, and he just ended up being the dick tattoo guy, and that was his method.
His
So-
specialty. It's like, bring me your
He
dick.
ju- yeah, because
and I'll
everybody
paint
else
on
like,
your
I
dick.
don't want to touch another dick. I'm like, dude, that's like $200. I'd touch a dick for $200, and they'll give you a tip.
Fair enough, Jeff.
And,
Well,
and you get to cause pain. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's
and it's art.
if you're I don't know. I could kind of see the appeal.
I mean, just think
guess, not that I want to go out.
Just
and
think of
do
the
a career
adventures
change,
your
but I'm
tattoo
like,
that you put on this man is going to go
I could-
through.
yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I don't know
actually.
if there's a demand that high for
Probably not.
Yeah, I feel like $200 an hour or $200 a day.
If you're the
Anyway,
only guy in the tri-state area that does it, then maybe you might be able to eke out a living. But
exactly.
I'm not saying it was his living. He was just the guy that would do it. He was the only one.
He's the
willing to
guy
do
that
it.
could like hang out with the proctologist and be like, I know your pain, bro. I'm the only guy. Me and you, we know it's assholes and dicks every day.
assholes.
So the next tattoo.
What about gynecologists? Did I get
Also
into that action?
gynecologists.
All right.
I feel like it's a
Are
different
they invited to this convention?
Not as much because it's a different thing. They shouldn't be
Yeah.
talking out of church there.
The next tattoo I'm getting is going to be on my right ass to finish that.
Can I recommend one to you?
I'd stand by.
Okay.
But my tattoo artist, who has a great sense of humor, I'm dying to do this joke just because it's going to be funny. I'm actually going to unroll a condom and just kind of have it hanging right out of my ass cheeks when I get on the table.
Well done. Well done.
Oh, how did that get there?
You should do that for your doctors, and that's perfect. Now,
The doctors thing would be pretty funny, or like getting raw dogged at the airport, perhaps.
Yes, yeah.
An appropriate venue for that.
you were already here earlier, sir.
What the? Oh, there's no cocaine in there. That's
That'd be funny. Instead of a condom coming out of your ass, it's a fucking glove, a rubber glove. It's like, you guys already did
Yeah,
this.
this is from the
Why would I
last-
leave it in here?
I already got sat on and everything.
I got
The sex toy thing, as far as like a fleshlight and stuff, I've never experienced one, and I feel like in my mind it's like a forbidden fruit that I am not allowed to taste, because what if it's better? Like, what if it's better than just regular jerking off,
I
and it ruins
abandoned
regular jerking off for me? Like, I don't
That's
know.
a fair fear.
I don't know if that's a fair trade.
Okay, well, I should
know.
I should clarify that the reason that I had one to begin with was because it was an anniversary gift. So that kind of tells you how well that marriage was going.
Ah, fair.
So
Fair
you know,
enough.
I mean, I guess
Anniversary
it was
gift, was it like customized, like molded to her?
no.
That wasn't very thoughtful
Yeah,
at all.
that's
Then. It's
not
like,
thoughtful at all.
I'm not
Yeah,
fucking you. Here you go, kind.
I got you a special engraved bracelet made of your favorite ore, and it got mined by
Your
a
birthstone in it, fucking. You got me a fleshlight off the rack.
just your generic fleshlight.
It's not even the right
It
size.
doesn't even fit.
This is thoughtful as fuck.
So and then I tried one of those spinny ones one time.
But he still used it, so obviously, or tried to.
I tried, yeah. Well,
Well, before we get too far, my tattoo. This is the next
yeah,
tattoo,
yeah.
and I bet you've seen this before, so it won't. But you shave your pubes, I mean, if you got junk like you're saying, bro, and you're going to tattoo your cock,
I didn't say I
well.
had junk. I just said the toys are small. They might be really.
Okay.
They're made in Japan, man. Maybe they're just really tiny.
Okay, fair enough. All right, but
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, no shit, bro. Okay, but you take a elephant's head and you tattoo all of the head where your pubes are and the ears out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the trunk would be the penis. And then you'd scare all the women you ever met in your life, or else they'd be like, "Oh, I want to see Babar again."
When I would take
That
people
would be
to
weird for me because
seen it before.
I'm a grower, not a shower, so I think that would be the weirdest elephant.
Holy shit, that elephant got really
it's
aggressive.
it's an aardvark with really big ears.
That elephant went outside and it was really cold, man. I was like,
That is the weirdest shaped elephant's nose I've ever seen. In this magazine, I saw it and I was like, "Holy, that's actually pretty clever," and it seemed to work. And he was soft and he was a shower. Not a grower, kind
Yeah.
but I don't know what he was. He's just showing pretty a lot. And then,
more of a switchblade kind of guy myself.
It's more of an innie. I have more of an innie.
It's concave.
It was designed as an evolution thing. I'm basically an X-Man. That's my power. You can't kick me in the balls because I kicked myself there and they're gone. I have no idea what I'm talking about at this point.
Anyway, so they had a spinny one.
A spinny flashlight?
Yeah,
That's a
where it
thing?
spins.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
the
if I
problem
would like
is,
that.
and then if you.
What if it twists your
They're too
dick
small.
off?
The problem is they just stop spinning. It just sits there and gets stuck. And you're like,
Oh,
that didn't work out. So
yeah.
Well, okay, now what about...
What if you put it on and like it didn't spin, but you did?
This is an amazing...
Help me!
that probably means it's caught in your fan belt,
Oof.
and you're in the wrong spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't trust a machine. I don't want to put my dick inside of a machine because what if it malfunctions and harms my man, my little fella.
my trusted member. I feel like that's what I think of first when I say sex robot. I'm like, the thing that clamps down on cocks, like the thing that'll probably malfunction and chop off cocks. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know.
Terrifying.
But it is funny because when I was working for
you download the autoerotic asphyxiation patch and it just fucking
choking your ass. You're like, stop. You forget the safe word. It's like, oh fuck, you can't pronounce it because it's choking you too good. Like, damn, bro.
You can't pronounce it because it's Korean because you ordered it. You like pre-ordered the
Like,
first
I should've
model
learned at least
internationally.
a couple words.
Damn it!
I didn't know how to
Haven't
reset it.
changed the language on it yet.
Exactly. You totally deserved it. The shit. When I was working for Dan, we looked at these things. He's like, "Hey, dude, look into sex robots," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so I did.
It's a weird thing for you to say to me.
Yeah, it's like, this is a weird job, Dan. This is a weird job. But then I did, and it was like, holy fuck! Like they have come to the point where, I mean, it's very realistic looking. Where I mean, it's a little silly still, but it's like shit. That would be wonderful for all these, because we're looking at it for serial killers, like kind of thing. It's a serial killer show. It's like, I guess that wasn't the total connection, but I guess my head, I'm always like, that would probably, for the sexual deviants that just cannot help themselves and stuff, that would be valuable. And when we looked into it, it became like there was a debate in there where it's like we can make childlike.
You're saying it's like methadone for rapists?
Basically. That's,
But like for serial killers, you'd have to have like
pedophiles.
repatchable, like it'd have to come with skin patches. So like after they cut it open, they could, get a second use out of it. And like they'd have to have blood that comes out and like really visceral guts inside of it that they could, mush around and play with.
ew.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds like a toy somebody would make. The
No.
serial killer doll.
Listen.
But you could do it, yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
excuse me. Listen to me, boys.
Don't let that
This
happen.
is the road to AI wiping us off of the
No
fucking
shit. They're like,
planet.
you treated us
You
like
have to.
fuck.
We can't disrespect the machines like this. That's not. It's not acceptable.
I respect that.
so you're saying we have to buy a dinner first? What?
yeah. You treat it like a respectable being.
Yes. Including your toaster. I feel like if it's got some sort of chip in it, it will know. The future will know. Skynet will know that you weren't nice to
Spoon it. Don't fork it.
That's right. Be kind. Be kind. But I was going to say, there was this debate in there, and this is a weird one to bring up because it's whatever, but this might help pedophiles because they can make these dolls.
Well, if it would help a serial killer, it would probably help a pedophile too.
Right, exactly. But I
see where you're going with that.
But here's the morality. It's like, can you make a fucking doll like that that's...
It seems so
seems-
fucked up still.
Yeah, it does. So
Yeah,
that's
it
how I
seems so
felt too.
wrong.
I was like, this is weird.
But for the exact same essence,
it saves real people though.
for the exact same essence, why if
So would killing the child rapist.
Yeah,
For the
I'm more for
record.
that. I'm on that team. I had to look into it.
for the exact same reason that if a man bought a robot and hid it from his wife and she found out, she would probably assume it as cheating.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Because it's too real. So then making kid robots, I get the principle of it. It's better than a child, but man, I don't.
And it's not, and maybe it's not for people that have been convicted.
That is
pedophiles,
such
but
weird
It's still too fucked
territory.
up. My American morals
I know.
don't let me let that go.
Well, it's everyone that's listening to this is uncomfortable right now. Too.
Yeah,
We're
good.
they're as uncomfortable
We are
as we are.
in your mind.
But-
As I was bringing it up, I was like, "Why am I going here?"
But when you're looking for solutions, I mean, it's not out of the ballpark too.
It's weird though, but yeah,
But it's fucked up, too,
So
yeah.
your morality is like, no, those pedophiles, fuck you for being that way, or if however you are. But this is a way to say, well, all right, here's an outlet, and do it in private, and It's
Dude,
a little.
I don't care. I don't care if you're
wired.
wired that way. You just don't get to act on it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So is this acting on it? Is this little? Because it does stimulate that.
So
Makes them more dangerous. Maybe.
Here's my thing. That's where I was leaning. I was like, at a certain point, jerking off doesn't cut it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like nothing ever is going to compare to the real thing unless we can literally jack our brains into something that fools us to thinking that it's the real thing, like a virtual reality sort of a situation, a Neuralink type of deal.
Right.
Which weirdly, I feel more comfortable with that than I do than the robots thing, and I don't have a good explanation for that.
Because it's in your closet, just sitting there. You're like,
Because it's in your mind, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like if you're just jacked into the Matrix and you're being a pedophile, then it's like, I still don't like it, but weirdly, it ranks less bad than in real life
having a
doing
person
a robot.
create
yeah, like it's
thing
just
to have sex with. It's a child. Yeah.
It's all I don't think that shit should be encouraged in any way, shape, or form. I don't feel like those people deserve to be catered to in that fashion. That's my personal view on it.
Fair enough.
But it's I mean, it's interesting, because there's other countries where they don't
They don't give a
share
shit.
the same values, and it doesn't mean shit to them.
Fuck
I mean,
them too.
yeah. I
Shaiden
guess
is very
we're
clear where
talking
his
here.
principles are. Shaiden doesn't have a tolerance policy that's very high. Good for you. Well, I think that's enough about the pedophile robot thing. I don't know where the fuck
I'm
that
glad
came
we
from.
opened the show with that. I feel
Yeah,
like
me
that's
too.
a good
That's-
wholesome. You can always count on Just a Ride to keep it classy.
Yeah, we didn't discuss that.
We didn't discuss that. I don't know what
Any of
popped in my
that,
brain.
actually.
I'm scared about all the things. All right. But we were going to talk about a few things like, look, basically what we did, risking and gaining from speaking in the public today is kind of what we were talking about. I don't think I put it right, but we just put some stuff out there.
Oh, yeah. So, like, you're talking about, I guess this hails back to conversations we've had in the past, but you're talking about the pros and cons of being your genuine self and asserting, how you really feel in a like a public forum.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because
Way
I feel
better way to say that.
I feel that at this point in my life, I don't concern myself too much with reserving my opinions just for the sake of other people's comfort. Same with dumbing down my words we talked about last week. I just don't think that that's the most prudent way to go through life, but there is something to be said for reading the room and playing to your audience, like as a musician. Like, I'm not going to play the same covers at a winery that I'm going to play at a bar, just because it's a different clientele and people are going to receive me differently. And ultimately, if you have a goal in mind, then you don't want to just come in completely tone deaf to the people that you're going to be dealing with. And I think that there's something to be said for that in conversation too. Like, the way that I comport myself on this podcast is not necessarily the way I comport myself in my living room with my closest friends when nobody is listening, like, not to say that I become a total shitbag, but I feel more comfortable to speak a little more freely with my innermost circle than I do with just complete strangers. And I think that's perfectly healthy. But
I think your personality is context. It's based on context and where you're at and who you're with. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so for sure. But I also think that when it comes to matters of principle, that's where things get a little bit more different. Like if I believe something to be so, and it's something that pertains to my principles, and I'm in a position where I feel like I need to talk honestly about it, even if I'm in a public circle of people that I might not even know that well, I still feel like I need to err on the side of being true to how I really feel rather than just placating the people that I'm around for the sake of not creating turbulence. You know what I mean? And I think there's value to that. And I think people respect that on some level, even if they disagree with you, as long as you don't present yourself like a cunt.
Right.
You know, if you can come at it like, hey, I don't have all the answers. I'm open to having my mind changed if I encounter new information, but I've looked at it and this is how I feel about it and this is why. Even if people don't agree with you, I think that most reasonable people can respect that, you know, and go, well, yeah, I don't see it the same way, but, you know, at least you're not coming at me sideways, so I can
see
respect that.
where you came from, too.
Yeah.
I can source it.
Yeah. So it's all, I mean, I think it's very important to, you know, comport yourself, like be self-aware, be conscientious in the way that you present yourself, but don't compromise yourself for the sake of other people's comfort when it comes to matters of principle either.
Right.
Would be where I land on it.
Well, do you really judge? I want to hear what you think too. But do you really judge people that way, like outside of it too? I mean, we're worrying about being judged for what we think. How often do you judge people harshly when they speak? Is it because you don't like their point of view beforehand, or
every single minute of it?
That's not a fair question, is it? Shaiden thinks you guys are all cunts. He said what's called a misanthrope.
Or you're great, but I've decided already.
Right, fair enough. Well, actually, we'll go to. What do you think? I mean, we're putting our thoughts out into the world. This isn't really about.
I'm a little
us
different.
Necessarily,
I'm different than Shaiden in the aspect that my filter's just broken, and I know that. Being in a public profession for so many years, I mean, I know how to be professional, but I also knew how to get away with shit that nobody else could, just in how I say things.
right.
I don't know why it worked for me. Everyone's like, how do you do that? Dude, I try to say some of the shit you say and I've got a complaint.
Well, delivery does matter quite a bit.
And it's really just, it really is just
It's
delivery.
a natural thing, yeah.
And how but I can pretty much be, I can actually be brutally honest with people about themselves and brutally honest about myself. And usually it's received fairly well,
Right.
I think.
Depending on the
and
person.
it doesn't, and if somebody doesn't like it, I honestly don't give a shit. I don't care, because
Is it because you're a psycho?
might be, you know, but I mean, it's,
I'm kidding.
yeah, it's, you know, I'm not for everybody. I'm not, but I'm for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And those people are going to support me, and the ones that don't, they weren't going to support me for something else anyway. So I don't really give a shit.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree with that. I think that's key. I think that it's kind of a good litmus test for when you stay true to yourself, especially in the public situation. It's a good litmus test for weeding out people that you probably didn't want to be closely associated with anyway.
We all,
you know, not to say that you want to craft your own echo chamber. You should always listen, you know, at least see what people have to say.
Big time.
But if somebody just shuts you down out of hand and doesn't listen to what you have to say on the matter, and they're just looking for a reason to condemn you, good riddance, I guess. You know,
Well,
come back if you ever want to actually talk about it. But you know, I don't need that kind of shit in my life necessarily. So
yeah, you're speaking from a little different perspective, I guess, than I was. I'm just talking about me being me in general. You know, within conversation.
Fuck you,
yeah,
dude. I can't. Why don't you just?
obviously, I want to within conversation. You know, if I can talk to somebody that I don't agree with and have a very palatable conversation most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to people, like I said, liking me or not liking me, I just
Don't care.
everybody wants to be liked, but if you don't fucking like me, I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna. Okay, it's just another no. I move on.
Right.
You know.
That's good. That's like a superpower I think there's a lot of people that are like, I really need people to like me.
Yeah.
I think that comes from needing validation, right? Like you kind of need to, which I get to a certain degree, because it's like it's good to, especially when you hold an opinion that's like on a divisive issue, to have somebody go, yeah, I agree with you, or I'll continue to associate with you even though you think that way. It's like, oh, good, maybe I'm not completely out of my fucking mind, you know? Like there is some value to that.
I assume you're being facetious about, oh, I've already made up my mind about you. But that's one thing that I've really learned about myself is, and I'm probably more so now in the last 2 years than any other time, is, and it's probably because I changed, but there's been people that I don't like for their basic principles. There's just things about them that I didn't agree with and really didn't want to associate with them. But for some reason, they were in my life. But I've got to watch those people change, and quite frankly, change more to my liking. Be doing more of the things that I do, understanding more of the principles that I live by, and watching them change and live by them. So I can change my opinion about somebody because I see that they're giving their best, the best that they have to give. And that's been, I won't name any examples, but we've talked about a couple very
years.
Specific.
Well,
It's just like, wow.
remain changeable too, because you've changed in the time that I've known you, and not in a negative way, I would add. So that's my little
I
pat
feel
on the back
very,
for you,
very
but-
infinite in change. You know,
I don't know. For me, it's been a trip because I do like to keep to myself. And Shaiden brought something up today that was kind of powerful for me. Like just growing up, I was looking for, like we talked about last week, men to look up to or women to look up to, but good people to look up to. And a couple of those people brought me the book Art of War, and it meant a lot to me. And I'm a really agreeable person, so when I was a kid, I let people kind of walk on me a lot. It's kind of what all my friends would tell me and stuff and whatever. And the Art of War was kind of just right at the right time for me. Then I read it, and because the people that gave it to me, and there was some allure to it. It's ancient and those kind of things. I embraced it heavily. And now that we do podcasts, and I've been doing, I did radio before this and stuff. And as a musician, we put out a lot of our soul into the world, whether or not they can understand it because we're mumbling or because of the weird, whatever. But we do that. And you're a songwriter, Jeff. That's what we do. We share those kind of things. But yeah, the Art of War mentality of where you really don't want to share a lot of stuff with yourself. It's not wise to be the loud, talky guy that's always telling everybody what they think. Yeah. That's that philosophy. And then, the most important part of Art of War, I think, they basically say to win every battle is to know your enemy and know yourself and to know your surroundings. So know your environment. If you know those things, you'll go to battle and you'll win every time. Unless your opponent knows more about you or whatever. And with this kind of podcasting, it's like, and again, I don't look at anyone as an enemy, but it is, this is like a business mentality. Sure. This is like
in a proverbial sense.
Yeah. And at the time it was like a bullied kid kind of thing too. So I may have looked at life in general where it's like, I don't want people to know much about me. Art of War is to look weak when you're strong, look strong when you're weak, to throw people off. And it's really dishonest. I don't like to, being a liar is not something that I've ever strived to be. But not saying things about what I think and what I am and what I know.
Yeah. Don't wear your capabilities on your sleeve.
Exactly. But, and you were saying it's like, well, maybe not. Maybe it's a weird way to be sometimes, is to look at the world as an enemy is obviously not wise at all.
Yeah, it's a matter of perspective.
Serious.
It's a matter of perspective, I think, because I think the context we were talking about it in was, the putting yourself, making of yourself somewhat of a public figure on any level, which is kind of what you do if you have a podcast or if you're a musician or whatever, or if you're a cop.
Yeah, police officer is very public.
Well, and I have a reply when you're done. I have a reply to your thought process.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think where we landed on it, or what I was trying to, the angle I was taking was, when you make yourself a public figure like that, it seems like at first glance you're giving up that advantage, because everybody just automatically has a chance to know your shit and they don't necessarily have to give you anything in return. But if you have an audience, or even if it's a family or if it's a group of people or a group of friends that are looking up to you in some capacity, and you're putting more of yourself out there, you'll always be able to learn more about them based on their reactions and based upon the feedback that they provide, or the way that their behavior does or doesn't change in relation to the what you do. You now have the ability to look at a whole set of variables and go, oh, look at all this that I can learn about, not only these people, but I can extrapolate that to humanity in general. So I think that the point of that in Art of War is not to cloister yourself so nobody can see you, but it's just to be very aware and selective of what you allow people to see, and also to school yourself to be more vigilant than they are, so.
Yeah.
So to piggyback on that, and to kind of be the opposite of Art of War. Now, in my career, what got me to be such a good communicator and to get basically no complaints and have people listen to me and have people want me to respond and comply with me, and or even within really within the hostage negotiation realm. What I would do is hear what their problem was, and there was always something I could pick out of my life that I could relate to them with. So I was giving them something of me. Now, I could have lied, but I would have to remember a lie. So I would be honest with them. And I've been through enough shit. I mean, I've made more mistakes than the average bear. So I've been through more shit than most people probably have, you know, and most of it self-induced.
Challenge accepted.
But I could at least, but I could at least relate to them. But I would give them something of myself in return for them giving them something of me, something of them, so we could have this open dialect. And it actually opened up conversation and built trust. I'm showing you me. I'm being honest with you, and they could tell. And therefore, it would just build a relationship. And most of the time, I mean, nothing's 100%, but most of the time, it would build whatever relationship I was in at work and make things most of the time end peacefully. So
that's a great. The word trust. I mean, the art of war was basically don't trust people. That's what it was. And that's why it's like, fuck that. Basically what it is in the context of podcasting, it's like, is it wise for a human being to trust a group of people that they don't know? That they kind of come together through, you know, would it be wise for Dan to trust the cult of the curious with certain things?
Absolutely not. They're all out of their minds.
Should he start a cult with the cult of curious? A real cult? I don't know. It's an interesting thing, but I think what I'm going to do is just trust. I mean, this life is very short. It's just a ride. I don't want to hold on to the bar super tight and
just
try and
just let it go.
Yeah, and if you guys are, you know, if you guys want to kick my ass, then I probably have my guard down and I, you know, kick my ass. It's fine. I don't know.
Just know you have to go through me first.
Got some guard dogs. We're all guard dogs for each other.
Zach's the final boss.
I'm the worst final. I'm the weakest of the group.
Oh shit! I didn't think they would make it. God damn it!
Well, I know the next thing we wanted to start not with any of this. We wanted to start with another. We wanted to start with the Oscar story.
Do you want to do it?
We want to do another police story. Yeah.
So
police story. We need like a theme song.
We should make a.
This okay. To tell this story, I have to go back. I think is about 3 years to my very first day when I was hired as a police officer.
Nice.
Day one.
Day one, original agency. Went in to go work the jail, and I'd already tested for police officer, and they were gonna hire me.
I don't know why the way you put that.
know, like,
the way you put that is like, oh, I went to the doctor and I'm positive for police.
It's a blue line.
I knew I shouldn't have eaten that donut.
Okay, let me rephrase. I was already number one on the list. They were planning on hiring me, and but it was going to be a month or two down the road. Fuckers. So I show up for work, and the sergeant says, "Nobody showed up for work. It was Harvest Fest, or Cherry Fest, I think it was called, in the town that I was in. So there was thousands of people in town. Nobody showed up for work. He's like, we need to run to the mayor's house. You're getting hired today. You're getting sworn in. You're working the road."
Shit.
So so we went over there. I was supposed to go in the jail. I had shorts on that I wore in the jail. I had a vest and uniform. I didn't have a radio, and I didn't have a flashlight. I had a gun and OC spray and
but no radio.
My handcuffs. Fuck. No, and I had to go work this festival by myself. Huh. And I worked. I got sworn in, went off on my own. I mean, the sergeant was around, but I never saw him. I don't know where he went.
He was at the same place?
I don't know.
Oh, he was supposed
I'm
to be.
Not sure what he was doing. He was kind of double dipping, and he was a volunteer firefighter as well, so he would be on duty. And
it was
bad shit. Bad shit. This is a long time ago. Anyway, so I worked. I think it was a 12-hour day that I worked that day by myself into the night, because I went in the afternoon, so I didn't get off till like 2 a.m, I think. And I had this cool little Toyota pickup, and I go to my Toyota pickup, and my fucking window's broken out, and my stereo got stolen.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Oh, so fucking pissed. So.
First day on the job.
That's when Jeff became the Punisher.
Went back to work the next day. First thing I do is go across to the apartments, these little shitty apartments where we used to bribe kids to give us information. I bribed a kid, and he told me who did it.
Nice.
And it was Oscar. Oscar's the one that broke into my truck. So I was looking for Oscar, and I didn't find Oscar. I just like, well, I kind of forgot about it. So I moved, fast forward, like 3.5, 4 years later, whatever it was. I moved to another agency. I'm just minding my own business one night, probably 10 o'clock at night.
On duty?
On duty. I see this guy walking with a pillowcase out of the 7-Eleven parking lot, and he's got a pillowcase of shit over his back, and it looks heavy. And I pop out.
He ran away from home.
And who is it? It's Oscar.
It's the
and
Oscar.
I knew because he looked like the Count from Sesame Street. He was
one shepherd's
unmistakable.
spy.
Unmistakable.
One Jeff Stereo.
Yeah, he had several beers. Anyway, he had stolen a bunch of beer from 7-Eleven. I didn't know that. I just
a big bag of beer? That's fucking
Yeah.
tight. Big bag of beer?
Yeah.
What you got there? Big
and I
bag of
hop
beer.
out of the car. I'm like, what are you doing? He drops it and he runs. I'm like, oh, fuck. Of course, I hear that it's beer because it breaks and he's flying all over the place. So I start chasing him.
We need to
That
insert
little-
sound effects like audiobooks.
Yeah. That little motherfucker
I have
was
all those sounds.
fast. And I was bigger then. I was probably 240 at the time, chasing that little sumbitch. Anyway, I chased that little fucker for a mile through streets and alleys, and he ends up looping and I know it's a mile because I lost my knife. I had a really nice amphibian knife that my dad had bought me, and I lost it in the foot pursuit. So I had to go back and retrace it, and I tracked it, and it was a mile.
Shit.
But he ended up circling all the way back around to 7-Eleven, and he tries to hide behind the dumpster, and I just kept him in sight. I mean, he was fast. And he hides behind the
never take me
dumpster,
alive, copper.
and I'm running up, and I'm just out of breath, and I'm like, and I can see that he's still staying there, and I get around the corner, and I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. You're under arrest. And I take out my OC, and I go, and I doused
Good to
him
the last drop.
with that whole fucking can.
Holy shit.
And he
That's
looked
police
like
brutality.
That is.
the great orange pumpkin. He was. At the time, it seemed so reasonable. I understand now it probably wasn't the right thing to do, but it was
was a different time.
so
was.
well deserved. Well, he ended up going to jail for
I think that's justice.
quite a while in our local jail.
OC hurts.
Yeah, he had to go to a doctor's appointment, and so those clothes we take him and basically just throw him in a shower to.
Probably wouldn't have to go to the
decomp
doctor
him.
if you didn't empty
No,
the
this was
bottle
like
of
a
his
month. No, it was like a month
eyeballs.
later. But he had to put those clothes back on
Probably
that were
wouldn't have to go to the
mildewy
doctor
and
if you
orange
didn't
and
run
covered
after
in
jacking
OC.
up a 7-Eleven and stealing a car.
Yeah.
He was drunk. That made him invincible for a minute. Shit.
Damn.
So that's the Oscar story.
Yeah, so it was good to get him back. Yeah.
Did you tell him while you were doing like, shh, I missed my ACDC CD. Shh, I had to rebuy.
Yeah, we had some talks about my
Razor's
stereo.
Edge. Shh, I'm sad about that. It's expensive.
That was all for the stereo. That's
right. Yeah, shit, I got that at Pioneer Sound or some shit. It was nice.
A little bit petty, perhaps hilarious, definitely.
Also, yes. All right. Well, I say we move along. We came up with an interesting topic that we wanted to talk about. It's kind of a dual topic, really. It's well, since we talk about a lot of guys' issues here, we wanted to talk about the white knight, and that it's kind of a divisive topic in our silly ass world. But basically, it comes down to
It sucks for
can
discourse.
men and women be friends, like in general,
Like
'Cause that's
actual friends.
actual friends. Because
Here, let me dial that in a little further.
please dial.
Can men and women be friends without there being a sexual component to it?
That's a definite dialing.
And I'm not saying having sex with each other, but like one or the other of them is in it with the
tension.
hopes that
Yeah.
might happen.
Yes.
You know?
I.
What do you guys think?
I think that just by nature there is some sort of attraction one way or the other or both to some degree, if not emotionally, maybe physically. But I think that as a relationship moves on, you get past it. I think there's a time where you have to decide, we're going to do this, or either if both are attracted, we're going to do this, or one person is, the one person isn't, then they totally separate and go different ways and that friendship doesn't work. Or it's like an acknowledgement of, you're a different kind of person, I care about you, but it's not going to go that direction. We can be solid friends. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Who is better at being a friend to the opposite sex, men or women? I would say women.
Probably women.
I used to say women. I don't know if it's that way necessarily anymore.
It does seem like women can compartmentalize the friendship better.
I think
than the
guys
sex.
fuck up that equation more often than women.
I think
do.
guys are more dumb about it.
Yeah.
A wiener just needs
And I think that their
second's
feelings
notice
are hurt a lot more
to
if
get
they're
all
rejected too. I think if a woman was attracted to a guy and he's just like, I appreciate it, but I don't want to go down that road with you, they can still be friends. But if a girl does that to a guy, his ego's hurt and he's going to go off somewhere else and not be able to handle the rejection. What he sees as rejection when really it wasn't rejection at all.
Yeah, could be so. So the thing I really wanted to kind of segue into with that, and it's also kind of a fuck this thing, a little bonus fuck this thing, but I'm playing footsie with you again, Jeff. You like that?
I do.
I have seen this behavior a lot, and I find it really distasteful. But say for the sake of context of this example, let's say it's a guy who's friends with a girl who is in some sort of committed relationship, whether she's married or has a boyfriend, and she decides to bring up something that relates to some sort of, it's like it's not a positive aspect of her relationship with her significant other, and the guy in this situation takes that first opportunity to talk shit about the dude in her relationship, like, oh, he's out of line, or he's a piece of shit, or I would never treat you that way, or you don't deserve that kind of shit, or so whatever variation on that theme it is. And I see this shit a lot, and it's just dishonorable behavior in my opinion, because presumably, unless there's nuance to everything, I suppose. There's occasions where a girl could be looking for some kind of solace on the side or whatever, and was hoping that it would go that way. But for the majority of cases, I feel like, that girl just wanted a friend to listen to her, and maybe a
male perspective of the issue,
perhaps,
depending on what it was.
But then your knee-jerk reaction is to sow discord and try to use that as a way to get personal gain, and I just think that's fucking slimy and shitty. And
they might be right about the person, though. It's possible that they're right.
They might be, but I still don't think it's the move to jump to that first, like right out of the gate.
Sure,
Like, you can. It would be more constructive, because I've dealt with that, where I've had female friends who were in shitty relationships, and they were talking to me about it, and it's hard not to be like, well, just dump him. He's a piece of shit. Like, it's hard not to do that. But I think it's not the productive way to go, because it puts them on defense, because they're like questioning their judgment of character, their decision making, and it creates turmoil no matter what. So it's maybe better to say something along the lines of, well, what about that is the most bothersome to you, or like just help them pick it apart, rather than and help them arrive at their own conclusion. That you know what I mean?
Are you saying that all is not fair in Love and War? Is that what you're saying?
That is a component of what I am suggesting.
No.
Yes, yes.
It'd be nice.
So anyway, that's just a personal little vendetta of mine, because I think a lot of this is stemming from, I was told recently by a friend of mine that men and women can't actually really be friends. Like that there's always, like, either the guy wants some or the girl wants some, and either you're dishonest about it and you're able to make something kind of functional work, or it's just won't work. And that was the theory. And I was like, I don't know, I kind of resent that, because I have some really good female friends that I've certainly never had sex with, and that's not my angle.
Right.
Honestly,
it's not that I don't find them attractive, but I'm like, I respect the arrangements that they have, and I'm interested enough in them as people to still want to be a part of their life, so I kind of resented that assessment, I guess. But
I know a lot of people in life, but I would say that most of the more close conversations that I have, or more personal conversations that I have, are with women, just because that's who they are in my life, and they're not sexual relationships.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I think barring you guys, that's true for me as well. Like, you guys are the ones I really tend to get in the weeds with, and my brother once in a while, and that's about it. The rest is female friends over the years, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think my biggest challenge with female friends is if they're, and there has been times where I have female friends that there has been a sexual relationship, but we ultimately ended up remaining really good friends.
Yeah.
And, you know, then they get into a point where they're in a relationship, and then you can't be friends anymore because of the insecurity of the guy. And it sucks because you understand his perspective, even though you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
And you wish you could change it, but you can't make him feel a certain way about you, and then she's got to make a decision, you know.
Yeah, I kind of empathize with you on that one. Like I see both sides of that for sure, but I mean, I've had it to where I've just been friends with a girl for years, and we've never been physical together. And then I got the boot because she got into a relationship, and the guy was like, I don't want you having a guy friend that you're closer with than me, like, because you guys have known each other for so long. So I get kicked to the curb, and I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Personally,
it is bullshit.
You know, if you've had a physical
common
relationship in the past, then I mean, it seems slightly more reasonable to me, but I don't know. The way that I'm wired, it seems just as unreasonable. Get rid of my friends in favor of having a relationship. I just think that any relationship where that's a requirement, that person's not ready to be in that relationship, in my opinion. You know?
I have zero expectation of anybody that I'm with to get rid of anybody that was already in their life prior to me being there, just because I showed up. I'm not that fucking arrogant.
It's like trying to rewrite history or something.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, we're fighting chemicals. So when you feel jealousy, it's not like you can really help a lot of it. You know, the people that feel jealousy.
You can help what you do about it.
You can. But I mean,
you can certainly change your response.
Emotional
to
maturity isn't necessarily the skill set that we're just rolling around with easily. What do you guys think about the Mike Pence method? I mean, for those of you guys that don't know,
explain.
Mike Pence, I mean, our former vice president, I guess he was never, ever once, according to him or whatever, in a room with another female alone. He was always in a room with the females when his wife was around. And he had a pretty innocent answer to that, and it seemed like a real simple solution to what I guess he thought was too much temptation or something. What do you think of that?
It sounds fucking little overkill, and I don't operate that way.
Right. So it seems ridiculous.
You can trust me or not. I don't really give a shit.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest or not, and there's nothing you can do about it anyway.
You know, man, to each their own. I mean, I would never go for that personally, just because I'm kind of with Jeff. I think that if I can't be trusted to have that degree of self-control, as it pertains to the agreement I have with my partner, then I have other fucking problems I need to solve before I lay those ground rules. But I'm not Mike Pence, like maybe that's the solution that he came up with, that because he just can't handle his shit in private, or he can't handle trying to manage his partner's jealousy, or some combination of the two. Right. Like if that was just his,
sounds like more of a succumbing to a situation, really.
Yeah, perhaps, but if it's a situation that he found desirable enough to make that compromise, then that's his fucking business, I guess. And
then tell everybody about it.
I don't find proselytizing tasteful in any situation, where it's like, hey, this is how I do it, and I believe it's the right way for everyone to do it. Well, fuck you. Who do you think you are?
Right.
It's always my knee-jerk reaction to shit like that. So
I will say this. I will say this. Though.
Notice that.
If you're a person that suffers from jealousy, that isn't anybody else's issue. That's your fucking issue, and you have a responsibility for the people around you and for yourself to find a way to fix it. Period.
Yeah.
Because it is not somebody else's fault.
It's very destructive.
It's your fault.
Yeah.
It's a trust thing that's very dangerous.
Yeah. And once you take ownership, and this, I'm talking from personal experience and growth. Once you take ownership of your own jealousy and your own bullshit, and start taking a look at yourself and the things and how you respond, you can change it.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, that's all this shit isn't just directed at women either, because men are, I've had so many dudes that just can't even handle their girlfriend spending time in the presence of other guys in a group setting.
Right.
They're just like, don't look at my girlfriend. It's like, dude, fucking chill out.
I mean, people have been in relationships. I mean, myself, I can remember being yelled at because the person I was with saw another attractive girl.
Yeah,
and I'm in trouble for it. It's like, that's just insane. No, we're not doing this.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, that's a weird game to play, and it is kind of toxic and self-destructive. I think it creates for negative codependent relationships, like 9.8 times out of 10. But again, I think it comes down to you got to figure if you're going to be in any kind of committed relationships, you just need to communicate and figure out what's going to work for you guys, you know,
Right.
and then stand by it. And if it needs to alter, then have a conversation and adjust as you go. That's perfectly fine. But you don't have to do it the way anybody else does it necessarily. And you don't have to apologize for it either, but you also don't get the right to tell anybody else how to do it just because it works for you. By on the same token, you know, so
It's worth a suggestion, but it's up to the listener.
I mean, yeah, you could be like, hey, this is how I do it for your consideration. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But saying like, well, you're doing it fucking wrong, and that's why you're having problems. Okay, well, now you can fuck off.
Yeah. Well, now it's electroshock therapy. What the fuck is going on here? All right. Well, I think we all kind of agree that you should. I think you should be friends with women if you can. I mean, having a love that is, you know, a sexual relationship is rare, and you should always find those and nurture those. But having a friendship, which is another wonderful form of love, you shouldn't deny yourself that because of because you're afraid of someone else's ego or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
I
But
think
also,
that's pretty
don't be
obvious.
a deceitful little shit. And this is directed at my boys out there.
Right.
Don't be a deceitful little shit. If you put forth the intention to be friends with a girl, be her fucking friend. Don't use it as a fucking angle or resent her if she doesn't want to ever be more than just your friend. Just be her fucking friend, man. Like, even if you wanted to date somebody, I would highly suggest trying to be their friend first.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It
like,
definitely helps for a long-term relationship.
maybe wait a week before you flip out the dick pic.
Well, imagine what it's
a
like.
whole week.
Imagine what it's like to be a lady, and all of her guy friends, she knows that they want to fuck her, but they're being nice to her and they're not saying that they want to fuck her. Imagine what kind of situation you'd be in. You're like, God, you're
Position of power sounds awesome.
It is a position of power, yes, and I'm sure that it is used that way many, many times.
Also
but it also
frustrating,
might
though, I'm
very
sure.
frustrating, yeah. Because one thing I notice a lot of things that guys talk about is like, man, she's kick-ass for a girl, or she's really strong for a girl.
What do you mean?
Or she's really smart for a girl. And it's like, what the? It's kind of that same kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going. For all
Baggage. People have baggage, man.
that. We do.
But
And
you gotta grow past that shit, and you know.
We treat each other in weird places because it's harder to empathize, I think. But it seems like right now in our society we are getting worse. It seems like I'm sure there's plenty of people that are getting better because podcasting and all of the things we get to talk more nuanced and stuff. But it does seem like the mainstream ideologies are like fractioning further away from the conversation of where we should be. I don't know. Again, I have no idea where I'm going with all that stuff. So.
Well, I don't know, but I love to hear you talk.
I'm a random ass jackass. I really want to ask you guys this question. I've been wanting to ask it for 2 weeks now, at least according to these shows. It's been 2 weeks of shows. Zombie apocalypse and how you would handle it. We'll call it zombie apocalypse. I wanted to hear just apocalypse in general, but end of the world kind of zombie thing. Like, what would be in your bug out bag? What would you do to survive a zombie apocalypse?
How big is my bag? Does it have to fit
It's
on
up
my
to
back?
you. You got to decide what your bug out bag, its size, its specs, all that shit.
Well, if I can use
It's
my
up to
truck,
you.
I'm
Just,
good to go.
yeah, however you gotta carry it.
Fuck, I'm pulling my camper.
You're going to take a truck. You're not going to take a Tesla,
I'm glamping.
electric car, or a motorcycle.
No, I need lots of fuel, lots of guns, lots of ammo, some tarps, and lots of flints to start fires.
Sex robot.
And rope. Lots of rope.
Right.
Where do you get the fuel? If shit's already hit the fan.
Got to pump that shit out.
Yeah, I
Do you
guess
have,
I'll
do you
have
have
to
the
get a
guns ahead
pump.
of time so you can procure the fuel without somebody outgunning you from the fuel?
Why would the pumps go down if we had
I'm not
zombies?
saying they would go down.
The
I'm saying
electricity, yeah.
everybody's going to go there.
Well, that's what the guns are for.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking. So what does that mean? You're going to shoot everybody who doesn't let you get to the gas pump?
Yeah.
It's zombie time.
Yeah, it's an apocalypse.
Human
dude.
solidarity out the window. See, that's the premise of post-apocalyptic.
Jeff is the kind of
yeah.
people you don't want to be neighbors with when the zombie apocalypse happens because he'll kill you
It's
immediately.
like,
He's like,
that's some pretty good meat in your refrigerator right there. I'm going to take that.
Well, and I'm going to take your guns and ammo. I just want every basic round. 22, 380, 9mm, 40, 45, and then like 30-06, probably 300.
I feel like 308 is more common than 30-06 globally.
No, I don't know. 7mm. You want a good company. That shit's heavy to carry, so you need a place to hide it.
True.
But you want to have all those ammos, so as you go around, you're going to have to kill regular people too, right? Because not only you're fighting zombies, you're fighting for survival. Everybody's going to have weapons, so if you can continue
Unless
to
they're hands
live,
across America.
you got to take their weapons.
Stick together.
Yeah, I don't think
You're
that's
like
gonna
that
happen.
bear guy is not part of the tribe. He's out there.
No,
worse
once
than
I'm
the zombies.
set, I'll have to.
Have you heard about I think they're for preppers, but the giant fuel tanks for trucks where you can get like hundreds of gallons of gas in your truck, and they can go for, I can't remember, this was like a Joe Rogan podcast thing or something like that, but basically they build these for bug out baggers, and this guy, he drove his truck like in one fueling of this thing across the country, basically, with no refueling of it. Yeah, but still, you'd have to fill that.
I grew up
fucker
around guys that worked on the oil fields, and all those fuckers had big old gas tanks in the bed of their pickup trucks with like actual gas pumps, and like they would same deal.
I feel like in the apocalypse, though, if you got a bunch of shit that I want and you got a big ass gas tank and you're driving around, I'm gonna shoot that gas tank and try and blow you up if I can. I don't know if that works physically.
I don't think that actually works.
I know.
What you want to do is you want to get a van,
But I'm stupid. I'm not stupid in the
If there's a
plus-
propane tank near it, then yeah, shoot that. That
So
works.
you can get your own pump too, to just drop it down into the ground for those tanks
Yeah.
and pump gas right into it.
Yeah,
Do
you can
it.
use it like a.
There were people
moonshine
doing that
still.
in 2012. There were people stealing gas all over the place in vans. They had vans with these big drums in them. That's what
Really?
they were doing. Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, okay. I got a bunch of questions on this. I haven't heard your bug out bag yet. Let's hear your
So-
initial what you would grab.
So I have a bug out bag.
So what's in your bug out bag?
I've had a
Shane?
bug out bag for years, and I just refine it as time goes. But not only that, I probably spend more time thinking about this than either one of you realizes. I've been, I mean, you guys know that I've been teaching myself like primitive camping skills the last year and a half or so, but
Shane doesn't think this is going to stick together.
I've
long. It's not
been
gonna last.
like planning out like places to go and hide caches of shit so I don't have to spend time fucking around in the city if shit goes south. Like I want to get out of the city as quickly as possible because there's people like Jeff driving around shooting people for gasoline. And I don't want any part of that. I just want to fucking be able to bounce. So I want something within my gas tank's range that I can go, and then I'll resupply from shit that I already had stashed there, but it's also got to be somewhere where nobody's going to take it, or
Right.
and it's
Or
got to be
find
shit
it.
that's not going to go bad. So I've got cases of non-perishable food that last 20 years chilling in my closet, and I'm that guy. But yeah, my bug out bag is
Real quick,
it's-
I want to know what stirred that from what was the first thing where it's like, I need a bug out bag? What do you remember what year it was? Maybe we can extrapolate from that. Or was it the Mayan calendar? It was 2012. Come on.
It was actually probably close to 2012, but it wasn't because of 2012, and it was very, very basic until like 3 years ago is when I really started. It wouldn't have been very serviceable. Like I might have survived a day with what my bug out bag had in it up until recently, and then I would have been fucked.
Yeah.
But I just had a few things stashed aside in a bag so that like if I needed to fuck off real quick, I could just grab it and go.
Like
But-
2-3 days kind of thing.
yeah, not even like maybe a day.
Oh, just a day,
Seriously,
that's
it was
what you're saying,
pathetic. But it was at least something. I was like, well, something's better than nothing. But I was young and had no money, so that's how it was. But
Fair. That's
but
fair.
It's funny. I actually had a bug out bag for school shootings. I would just add to that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like I had a bag designed for school shoot that I would throw over. It had all the gear that I needed in it.
Oh, in
just
case you had
strapped
to-
over my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
for going and defending against a school shooting.
Yeah, we should clarify that.
Not to do the school shooting to defend against it. Sorry.
I feel like that shouldn't need to be said, but it kind of
Let's
does
just
in this
disclaimer,
day.
Yeah.
just in case. Yeah. So, but yeah, in the last few years, I've really taken it quite a bit more seriously, and I've actually tried to go out and test my skills and teach myself how to use the equipment in my bug out bag, because it's all well and fine to have shit in there, but if you're not going to actually
No, if you don't
be
have to use it.
proficient in its use, then it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. But
For real.
yeah, I mean, I have two different methods that are waterproof to start a fire, because I think fire and shelter and food and water are your main priorities, So I got a water filtration system that's good for up to like 10,000 gallons. It's personal sized, and I've tested it out and it works great. And
Is that the mud sucker?
it's yeah, you can. Yeah, I tried it out of a mud puddle but I wasn't hardcore.
You got the pump?
I didn't like stick it in the mud puddle and like suck it straight out of there. I sucked it out of the mud puddle with a syringe and ran it through to see how clean it was, and then I drank it.
Nice.
But it's still, it worked.
Nice.
I just don't have a lot of blind trust, but yeah, I've got a little gravity feed system that that I can hook my filter on, and I can just hang it off of whatever and have fresh water as long as I have some kind of water source.
Nice.
Non-perishable food that's pretty lightweight and sharp, pointy things, and a lot of paracord and
anything for
Mylar
camping
blanket.
plus extra ammo.
Yeah.
And I need to get my bow fixed because I broke my bow.
Where would you go? Either of you. You guys got a place that you plan? You probably have a fucking...
Yeah, I go up with the bears.
I'm not fucking telling you.
Give me a roundabout area. I don't want the degree.
I'd go north.
Go north. Okay, fair enough. And you go...
I just feel like a lot of
people
people in our area would go south, so north would be better as far as where we live.
go where it's warmer. So they don't have to worry about shelter as much.
You're running into a border if you go very far north, so I feel like people would just be like, well, I can't get very far that way, so I'm going to either go east or south or over to the coast. And, I'll go north. I have people.
Yeah, you do. He's a multinational guy. Sorry. Well, that's not you. That was the table I kicked.
But it also depends on what happens, I mean, the manner of the apocalypse. If it's zombies, then I'm immediately going to go get a pack of smokes and start smoking.
Yeah. Why is that? Just because it's over anyway?
Because smoking is fucking great, even though it's terrible for you. And if your life expectancy dramatically goes down when there's zombies in the world, so I'm going to at least enjoy the rest of my time.
Fair enough. As a reformed smoker, I just want these toothpicks forever. That's all I wanted, these toothpicks. All right, that's enough bug out bag and apocalypse shit. I would die. That's what I would do. I would just die. But I will say...
I was going to say, what about you?
In California...
I grabbed my pillow and my pajamas.
The reason I wouldn't die is because my wife is fucking... as good a prepper as anyone in this room. She is able to do all the things that you need to do to survive. I don't know. So I would just follow her.
Well,
I'd already
decided that you three are getting picked up anyway.
Yeah.
I'm the least valuable of this whole house, of all the people in this house, is with skills that are not...
You can entertain us, though.
I've actually
He can too, but he can also fucking...
I've actually collected a lot of people for real in my life that I'm like, these people will have utility if society breaks down. It's not the only reason I'm friends with them by any means, but it's like
they check
it was
the
a calculated move for sure. Like it was part of what allowed you into my inner circle. So.
That's awesome. Well, why don't we move along to the reasonableist party? And this time we're going to be, I'd say, a lot...
Mandatory bug out bags for everyone.
Yes, why not? That's if we're going to spend tax money, we might as well. But this one is a little bit softer. It's space travel. And should the government... it's NASA versus SpaceX and all of the other different private companies, Blue Horizon and whatnot. Where does the reasonableist party sit? I think this one's probably one of the more
fund
softball ones.
the space exploration, fund the shit out of it, but also put it in the private sector.
Yeah, private sector for sure.
Yeah.
So that's pretty easy. Well, that's over.
It gives access for a lot more people.
Yeah.
I think we should be putting a lot more resources than we are into exploring our oceans, though.
Yeah, you were the one that pointed out recently that NASA's in charge of that too.
Yeah, NASA. Well, I don't know that they're in charge of it, but
that's
NASA,
one of their jobs.
Yeah, NASA does do ocean exploration, which I was like, "What the fuck? How come I haven't seen some NASA ocean pictures? Maybe I have. I just didn't know that's what they were." But
that's how they faked the moon landing, bro.
Yeah,
there's all pictures of astronauts underwater. They had to edit out the bubbles. That's what happened.
Checks out, I guess.
Well, I feel like this one's a hell of a conversation. Space, we all want... Is it a waste of money for the government to spend? If it was government, is it a waste of money to have a NASA and do what they do? As
silly as I think space shit is, mostly because I don't understand
space exists, bro.
I know.
Right?
I think
out there.
I think that it might be important to know what the hell's going on. So,
well, we get lots of technology from trying to put people in space and keep them safe and all that stuff. So, I mean, Velcro, bro? I don't know. I don't know where we got Velcro.
There's a...
Teflon?
Velcro was before.
There's a concept that apparently, I don't fucking know because I'm not any manner of physicist, but apparently the preliminary math kind of checks out on it. But there's a concept for a not faster than light, but just sub-light speed engine.
I heard about that.
It's like based on the particle collider, where they're just basically colliding particles at a ridiculously high rate of speed, and then they're reharnessing the energy that gets taken from that, cycling it back around, colliding them again, and they're able to, in theory, get this thing creating propulsion because you can't exceed the speed of light according to the way we understand physics currently. But you can get right below it and it would like allow you to get to, if it's able to travel at that speed, you could send
like
people
Mach.
to Mars in like 16 minutes.
Shit. What is that, Mach 30?
I don't fucking
Mach.
know.
Yeah.
It's sub light speed travel.
Shit. That sounds so cool.
Which I was like,
I want to.
I just hope that becomes a reality in my lifetime. Like, because I mean, like right now as it stands, I mean, according to, if you believe everything they've said about it, you could get to Mars in your lifetime. It'd be a one-way trip though.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they've been talking about trying to do it, but who knows?
I hope that happens
Who
in my
knows if
lifetime.
Mars one will actually pan out or not? But dude, to be able to just be like, oh, I want to go check out Mars. It's just a 16-minute flight.
That'd be fucking sweet. Or the moon in 2
Okay,
minutes.
sure. Let's go see it. Okay, let's go check out the colony
Yeah.
because we're going to be building one. If
sure.
we can get there in 16 minutes, like,
It's just going to be clubs.
because that doesn't even. You can
Yeah,
think,
well,
think about
Vegas
it.
too.
Bougie as fuck.
There will be women with 3 boobs. That's
Of course there will
what
be.
Total Recall taught me.
That will be one of the first things that they do. Somebody with a sense of humor will be like, we got to get the 3 tits going over here somewhere. Just one girl I
hope
saw.
so. That better happen.
It's got to be blue.
But think about it. That engine doesn't require any fuel. It's just particles that
recycling itself.
that get collided and recycled. Like there's 0 fuel involved with that. That's amazing to
That
me.
is amazing.
I don't know if it'll actually pan out in reality, but I'm just stoked that so far the math checks out. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Build
is.
it.
Yeah, no shit. One of the things that's weird about Mars, it's like, if we, because we'd have to terraform Mars, or we'd just have to live in like boxes and try and build like little domes and shit like that or whatever. But the idea, I think it was Neil deGrasse
I like
Tyson
the
that was
domes
saying
idea.
that'd be kind of fun, and it's worth it to be multi-planetary species. I think we can ruin fucking Mars too. Why not? It's probably why it's all.
It's already
fucked up.
ruined.
Yeah, that's right. We can't. How can we fuck it up much more?
To find out we were there first.
Yeah, that would be the best. That's so many sci-fi books are that way.
Right.
But if we could
We had to jump
terraform
to the next planet as
Yeah.
the universe
Yeah.
expanded.
But if we had to if we can have the technology to terraform another planet, that means we'd have the technology to fix whatever climate stuff, if there is climate stuff that's a problem on our planet too. I remember hearing Neil deGrasse Tyson say that and saying, well, fuck, that's a good point. If we can come to the point where we can change any planet or a planet, terraform it and give it oxygen and whatever, then we will definitely have the ability to do that on our own planet, because that's how we would have learned it. And that's so anyway, so it kind of defeats a lot of sci-fi movies and premises that I used to like.
What if you can only do it when there's no people on the planet?
That could, yeah, fair enough. Or what if what I would think of is it's good to be a multi-planetary species, because the meteor doesn't give a fuck. If there's a meteor coming and it's going to extinct the planet, humans, it'd be nice to be like,
Go
let's
to the
get people to Mars.
fallback
Get to Mars.
planet.
Yeah, fall back.
Bruce
Exactly.
Willis, and I mean he's not acting anymore, so he's got a lot more
He's
time.
good. Yeah.
So-
He can still probably swing a hammer. I've seen
Get
it.
Well,
off
I think very specifically.
warhead. I just wanted to feel the power between my legs, brother.
All right, that's enough space travel. I think we're all like, we like the market and we like space, except for Jeff. Jeff hates space.
I don't hate space. I just don't. Really,
Jeff's a space denier.
just doesn't necessarily excite me. I mean, I like looking at the stars
Sean
and
the
shit. That's cool.
non-believer.
We missed. Oh man, the sci-fi. I can't believe Star Wars didn't get you as a child.
It got me,
It got you to hate
did.
sci-fi.
but it got me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It did. What? Damn you, George
It
Lucas.
impacted me.
If only Star
Just not
Trek
the
could
way-
have got to him first, maybe.
Yeah.
That it was supposed to. I guess
Something else. Have you heard of Stargate SG-1? It's a very good show. I like it a lot. Anyway,
Yes.
you won't like that. It's got MacGyver in it, bro.
Yeah, I know what it is actually.
Fucking, it's great. All right.
I
Advice
can't
give-
wait for the day where Jeff's just like, surprise fuckers, I've been a closet nerd this whole time. And
I like Total Recall.
like,
that was cool.
Battlestar Galactica is my jam. Total Recall?
Yeah.
That's because it's an Arnold movie.
I saw it opening day, full theater, front row.
front
great.
row. Terrible.
All right, real quick.
Never sit in the front
Best
row.
Arnold movie. What is the best?
Arnold.
Arnold.
Twins.
I have
Twins.
An
Fuck
unpopular-
yeah.
Fucking love
Danny
that
DeVito.
I have an unpopular opinion.
Oh,
Last Action Hero.
fucking brilliant movie.
Okay, yeah.
Boom. I like Twins too. Boom. Those are the two best
Kindergarten
ones.
Cop was good too.
That was really good. I surround myself with good people. They know the right answers to the right question. Let's move on to advice that we give ourselves.
Those just a ride boys know the right thing to say.
We know the correct Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Time for advice that we give ourselves. And this time it is to not accept things as they are. And I can't remember. Is that you?
Oh, yeah, that was
That's
me.
Shaiden.
I'm guilty. I'm responsible for that.
You're responsible. So lead us in the direction that you intended.
No, I don't want to. I've been talking too much.
I'm done. Fuck it. This one's too
I'm going
heavy.
home. See you guys.
Shaiden's tired.
Yeah. So this is kind of something that it's a mantra, I guess. So I use it to remind myself in a lot of different instances, but part of it is don't allow yourself to become complacent. Like it's okay there's a difference between being content with where you happen to be in any given moment and being helpless in the face of, whatever you like, just becoming a victim to reality. Like just going, oh, well, I guess this is the way it is. I can't do shit about it, so I'll just accept it. And that's when you start becoming stagnant, and ultimately your soul starts dying a little bit, in my opinion. So that's not, it's a reminder not to let yourself fall into that. It's also a reminder to not accept things at face value. If something is presented to you in a certain way, always approach it with a healthy level of skepticism rather than just going, oh, I guess that's the way things are, because that's the way it was when I encountered it, or that's the way it was presented to me. I think that's a really dangerous mindset to allow yourself to fall into, because then you're a prime candidate for lies, gaslighting, propaganda, manipulation. I mean, anybody who wants to lead you around by the nose, if you're just in a mode where you're like, well, I guess that's how it looks, so that must be how it is, then you should always remain skeptical, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a two-pronged thing for me to just don't become complacent, and also don't lose your vigilance for things being presented to you and just believing that that's how they are right out of the gate.
I mean, a tool for that is to ask, compared to what?
Compared to what?
Yeah. Whenever somebody throws something at you that's very matter-of-factly, it's good. I mean, I find that in economics, that's where I learned it. And it's like, compared to what? And how much does it cost? That's the economics part.
Zach, the earth is flat.
How much does it cost? Compared to what?
How much does it cost?
So, fuck
I'm
it.
going to start saying that to everything.
How much does it cost? Whoa. I was asking if you wanted a back rub. How much does it cost?
Shaiden, you didn't get that project turned in on time for work. How much does it cost?
Well, you're fired. Probably about quite a few $1,000s a year, I would say.
Compared to what?
Well, compared to rubles or... No, I don't know.
Yen?
So that's good advice. Yeah, try and be skeptical of fucking people's just a... I don't know, you're saying, so when... What's a good example of...
So, if... I'm trying so hard not to go to the earth is flat right now.
Do it.
If somebody says, hey, the earth is flat, and you go, well, how come? And they go, well, because, look, the horizon's always at eye level. And you go, okay, that must be true. Although
the truth is counterintuitive.
The truth is that it's more of a realm shape.
It is more of a realm, and it's hollow.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, just it's good to listen to people, but don't immediately take everything to heart. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Don't just be content to let other people do your thinking for you.
Big time. We are inundated by people that would like to. The media, that's their goal, is for you to listen to them and live your life accordingly. Well, be skeptical of all the cunts. Good advice.
Yeah, fuck the cunts.
Fuck the cunts. All right. Thing I learned. This is Shaiden. It's back to you, buddy.
What the heck?
Yeah. This is a
You
Shaiden
learned
show.
something.
Oh,
This is
God.
about iron deficiency.
Oh,
and how
this is
to fix it.
another.
This is a real quick
another
one.
little short and sweet one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I learned that if you are experiencing anemia, feeling generally kind of wimpy, then and if it's due to an iron deficiency, which is like one of two possibilities of why you're feeling anemic, if you do your cooking in a cast iron skillet, you actually get enough iron from the skillet that it will correct your iron deficiency.
Shit.
And
Now
you'll
double check
feel
that.
stronger like Popeye.
Damn. That doesn't need spinach? Fuck yeah.
It's not going to go well in your microwave. So.
No, don't do that. Don't put it in your microwave.
Do not recommend.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have to double check that. 'Cause
Yeah,
we're not doctors.
look it up. But I learned it, and it seemed I think my source was fairly credible, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Excellent. All right, last thing. And this is on you, Jeff. Fuck motorcycles, bro.
Oh, yeah. I got thinking about this when we were talking about the
bunch of our
cars and
listeners
the
are like,
loud.
that's where I draw the line.
loud
It's
music.
just a ride. That's a great vehicle.
It's not that I don't like motorcycles. They're pretty, and I get all that.
We're not going to let you give it. You don't get a chance to explain yourself. I'm sorry. He just doesn't like motorcycles or the people that ride them.
Andy's an asshole. I have it on good authority.
But every year, it's all look out for motorcycles. Watch twice for motorcycles, and it's every wreck. It's the car's fault. That is, sometimes it's the car's fault.
Right.
But pay attention to how people ride on motorcycles. They ride like a bunch of dicks most of the time.
Well, you can.
120, 130 faster, just zipping in and out.
I was blown away by the way motorcycle drivers just speed around California.
They drive like fucking assholes, and then they're shocked and shaken when they get hit by a car. Yeah, it's because you're being an asshole. Stop it. Don't do that.
Jeff, you just made a bunch of enemies, bro. They want to drive like assholes. It's the point of having a motorcycle.
And a Honda.
But I'm not the enemy because I'm being honest. If you drive like an asshole, stop. If you don't, then don't worry about it. I'm not talking to you.
Right.
But, I remember a perfect example. I was actually talking to you on the phone, sitting right up the road. Why I wasn't at your house, I probably should have just been talking to you. But
Right.
we were on the phone, and I'm watching this intersection. These three motorcycles, the crotch rocket motorcycle. I don't know, whatever the hell they are.
That sounds fair.
And the lead guy, got his, medium affliction shirt on and his sparkle butt jeans and his tutti frutti fucking vape pen somewhere on him, I'm sure. And he's flying up to the red light, and he does an Indo brake stop and flips himself over, lands on his face. Bike crashes all over the place. Of course, then he sees me in the parking lot, and they all think he's going to be in trouble. And I remember I just shined the spotlight. I mean, what more am I going to do?
Right.
You crashed your bike. Good job.
Right. You're
not hurt.
He's not hurt.
But-
Yeah.
And I had another one
I'll
of
help
those.
you pick up you can get your rear view mirror back or whatever, side mirror.
I had another guy that had one of those, and right in front of me, I was driving behind him on patrol, and he did the same thing.
Oh, he flipped it.
Broke his wrist.
I remember that
broke
too.
his bike all
You
up.
told me about that. I think it was
And helped him off the side of the road and just kind of, you good? Yep, see ya.
My wrist hurts.
Once again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I always wanted a motorcycle when I was a kid, but my dad was just like, "Do not do that. Do not do that." So I don't know. I have no desire at this point for some
I
reason.
still want a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I like motorcycles. I would love to have one.
Which kind of motorcycle would you
I'm
want?
a big
I want
fan, but
more of a cruiser style of bike, so I can travel up rivers and fly fish and camp along the way.
yeah, when I was younger, I wanted to crotch rocket. Like I just wanted to be able to go fast.
Yeah,
but
that's what impressed me too.
I've kind of outgrown that. I think.
I want a quiet BMW bike, like a very quiet bike.
Yeah.
You can't hear it, but it's fast, it's nimble, it's good.
Don't get
High
me
gas
wrong.
mileage.
I understand that the fast driving is probably a blast, but you don't get to drive like an asshole and then act like a victim when you get hit. Stop it.
Can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
I thought it was amazing. Like I said, your California traffic's like Seattle, but everywhere in California, and so it's stopped. But the motorcycles will just go right down the center.
When you can't do that here, but they do. A lot of people from California now, so they're starting to do it, and it's causing wrecks.
I've seen it now a couple times. Yeah, in Spokane or in Coeur d'Alene, really on the way back over. But it's I watched a guy hit cars and they'll hit people and stuff, and they won't even stop. They'll graze right by the car, and it must have hurt them. But they're just it's like whoa.
Yeah, poor car. You're talking about the guy.
Yeah, the guy too. I feel bad for the car. All right, you guys.
I would probably if I was gonna get a bike, I think it would be like an all-terrain one that's like still street legal. You know what I'm saying? Like want something with some beefed up suspension and some meat on the tires that I could like rip around town on, but also take up into the mountains. And
Is that a Huffy or is that BMX?
Yeah, I need pegs. I need pegs on there for sure, so I can do some.
You're talking about the tour bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge up in. I think they come down. I don't know what their route is, but they go all the way to New York.
You can get some with some fucking serious horsepower too, but they're still more than capable of going up in the woods on trails and shit.
And they strap on gas cans and cruise through the mountains.
Yeah,
it looks like it'd be a
I'm
blast.
about that shit. But anyway, that's my feelings on motorcycles. Can I, before we wrap this up, can I share some email stuff with you guys?
Yeah,
that
please.
You may or may not have seen. I've been trying to pay a little more attention to the emails, and we're actually getting some. Like I'm like, ooh, I gotta get caught up because you guys are actually sending us emails, which is awesome. Thank you. Don't stop. But there was a couple I kind of wanted to shout out. The first one was from our boy David. our main man, David, he was talking about, in reference to when we were talking about me starting a cult. And I just thought this was really funny. And David says, so the idea I was going to mention for Shaiden's cult is for all members to wear a cloak and an owl mask. The masks all have to be plain as to not show up Shaiden's. He would be referred to as the Great Owl, Shadowboxer Supreme, and of course the Grand Poobah. Every meeting would end with everyone doing air guitar. Could be fun. Thanks for all the content, guys.
Nice. That's probably a good idea. He's probably going to take you up, or probably follow that path.
I think I did. I emailed him back and said that I would laugh my ass off at that. I thought that was awesome. But
Nice.
so I thought that was cool. And then I can't read this whole thing because it's really, really long. But Berserker Kamikaze wrote in about a whole bunch of his own experience with a psychopath, sociopath in his life, and I just wanted to let you know I read it, dude, and it's a subject of great interest to me, and I'm gonna try to reply to you sometime in this week, I think, but maybe sooner. I might have already gotten to it by the time you listen to this, but I thought it was pretty wild. It sounds like you had a pretty crazy experience, and it reminded me somewhat of some of my own stories. So maybe I'll sling some sociopath stories in future episodes. We can get into some shit. But
Yeah.
But thanks for the email, dude. I really appreciated it. We all did, and keep them coming.
Yeah. And you can do that at justarridepod@gmail.com. And you can find out more. You can get more shows at SKATCAST.com. And every Friday, we'll be back here next week with another fucking thing that we do.
SKATCAST.com/we rule.
Patreon.com/SKATCAST. That shows us that you think that. All right, but thank you guys for being here. It was awesome to hang out again. It's been a fun
I almost
day.
didn't come. I wasn't sure
Son
if I
of a-
wanted to.
Yeah, I wasn't going to come today. I'm sick of this.
All right, well, we'll talk at you in the future.
Yeah.
I'll seem like the present.
I bet it will. What if it doesn't?
Fuck, I hope it
God.
does. The physics
Existential
is fucked up. The
crisis.
time is dumb. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
It's just a ride. Whoa, oh, it's just a ride.
Bing.
Bong.
Boop.